It is someday in August, and it's Monday, and I am at the Crater Ditch Trailhead in the Three Sisters Wilderness. Got Stabby up here without any problems. Pretty wild and woolly road, and his first taste of that, but things went pretty well. I'm doing a one-day circumnavigation of Broken Top today, so I think it's 18 miles. Not terribly sure from this trailhead, but I'm going to do it counterclockwise, going up to No Name Lake first, then go around the north side of Broken Top, and then come down the Green Lakes Trail back to here. It's 6:30. The mosquitoes are present, and they find me interesting, so I'm going to get going. Sun rising over Mount Bachelor. Just walking along the Crater Ditch Trail here. I think that's what it's called. It's the Crater Ditch Trailhead. And this is an artificial canal, obviously, which diverts the water from Crater Creek, which drains the south side of Broken Top, back that way towards Tumalo Creek, so it can be used as part of the Bend municipal water supply. Speaking of Broken Top, there it is. So I followed this for a mile or two, and then I go up to the right towards No Name Lake. It's not too cold. As I mentioned, the mosquitoes are out. As long as I keep moving, I think I'll be okay. Once I get above timberline, they're not going to really be much of an issue. Oof. I'm going up there. All right, I've reached the point where the creek from No Name Lake comes down, and you can see how that's just diverted into the ditch. There's the creek with a little bit of water going down it. So instead of continuing to follow the Crater Ditch Trail here, what I'm going to do is cross, and there's a very old abandoned Jeep road right there. I'm going to follow that up in this direction until I intersect the official hiking trail. Otherwise, I go way out of here and then I have to come back. So this will shorten things up a little bit for me. So a little bit of cross-country travel. All right, I've intersected the trail from the official Broken Top Trailhead up to No Name Lake, and heading up this way between Ball Butte and Broken Top in all its glory. There is a reason that I'm doing this loop counterclockwise. This section from here up to No Name Lake is pretty rough and steep, and then after that I have to go over a ridge and then down a steep ridge off trail. And then I'm going to go cross country from east to west across the north slope of Broken Top, like on the other side. And all of that's going to be off trail. And then at the end, I drop down to Golden Lake, and then I rejoin trails for the rest of the day. So by doing it this way, I'm going to get the tough stuff out of the way at the start of the day. And then the end of the day, when I'm getting tired, I'm going to be on cruisy single track. So I'm just making the day easier for myself. So, yeah, it's climb up to No Name Lake is going to be a wake-up call, but it always is. And then I just get to keep going instead of come back down. All right, more climbing. All right, stopping here to fill up at the spring. I'm only carrying 1 liter, so there's lots of places where I can fill up during the day. This is the first one. I'm probably halfway, a little more than halfway up the climb to No Name Lake. Continues to be beautiful. A little bit overcast. It's supposed to be some thunderstorms this afternoon, hopefully later. So fill up my water bottle and keep moving. Getting close to the lake. This place never ceases to amaze me. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take a break here, have breakfast. After that, I'm gonna go up to that notch, up to the top of that high point, and then there's a ridge I can follow down the north side so that I can go this way. Oh, yeah. Rare day to have this place to yourself. Okay, climbed up from No Name Lake. At the pass between there and the north side of Broken Top. So what I'm going to do is go up here and find that ridge that goes down this way to the east of the glacier, because here is just treacherous and bad. And then I go across those flatlands there until I get to Golden Lake. And Golden Lake, I believe, is in the bottom of that little meadowy bit down there. Oh boy. Last little bit of climbing. All right, let me get you acquainted with where I am right here. There's No Name Lake. The pass that you can hike up to from there is right over here. And then I took an obvious use path to the right up this ridge. It gets kind of knife edgy in some places, but you can stay away from that. And you come down to this nice broad pass here, and the trail continues this way if you're going towards Broken Hand and Tam MacArthur Rim. What I'm going to do is leave trail and descend these slopes down a ridge kind of towards there. And once I get low enough, then I can cut onto the low country. I've come up this before with a full pack, so I know I can go down it with a day pack. There's no trail at all, though. It's just a matter of picking your line and staying off snow and going slow. So here we go. All right, a little bit clearer view of the route at this point. There's the pass I just came from. Come down this slope. And now I'm following this ridge down to a gap between it and that promontory right there. Once I get to that gap, I'm going to go down to the left and to the low country. There's also an option to go to the right. It's a little bit longer, but it's probably easier. So it'll depend on kind of what conditions look like once I get down to that gap in terms of which way looks easier. All right, that was probably the toughest bit right there. Going down the ridge, I got to this little drop off here, and I just traversed to the west, to the left, I guess, going down, and then came down here. If you had gone east or right instead, looks like you would have had a little bit steeper, rockier thing to go down. I'm still heading down for this pass, so it looks like I'm going to go this way and that way. Looks the easiest. Just picking my way nice and slow. Descending these flat, platey rocks is sounds like music. Like a really discordant wind chime. Okay, you can see why I had to traverse over after climbing above No Name Lake. This is Bend Glacier right here, which occupies the northeast face of Broken Top, which is right there. Not really descendable safely from where I originally came up, so I followed that ridge, got to that pass, came down this ridge, which is easier than it looks, and now I just have to get down to there. So I'm gonna go a little bit farther down till I get to the low point, and then just follow this talus down to the low spot and head down the canyon. Yeah. All right, the descent of the North Ridge is complete. Well, sort of. I still need to go down into this little canyon here and descend that back down to the flatlands. And that'll be a little bit rougher because it's more like glacial moraine stuff. So there will be like bigger boulders and stuff. So it's probably going to be pretty slow going. If you're going in the other direction and you get here and you're looking for the way up, that little notch right there is your key to the ascent. So just go right up there, and from there on, it's pretty easy. All right, down I go. All right. In the gully that drains the east edge of the glacier, and it kind of gets steeper here and rougher, and you can see some snow here and here, and I'm guessing that snow continues in such a way that if I continue down this ridge, I might end up to the point where I need to walk on that steep snow, which I have no interest in doing. So I'm going to go over here and traverse around that snow. Looks kind of loose and crumbly, but nothing too bad. At least that way I know what I'm getting into and I can see it. And then once I get down to where those larger boulders are, I just continue down the creek straight down until I get to the flatlands down where that green meadow is. Okay, picking my way slow and low. Definitely made the right choice. That center ridge I was on, as it descends, turns into bigger and bigger boulders and steeper, and that would just be a mess, and a lot of it's loose. Whereas this side, it was a little rocky up there, but it's mostly just sandy kind of stuff where you just plunge step and just go slow and take it easy. Keep your weight over your feet. So easier than it looked from above, which is very often the case. All right before hitting the meadow, you meet up with the larger creek that drains the actual glacier. You can tell because it's kind of cloudy from glacial silt. Comes down from up there. Kind of sketchy descent and crossing here. So I'm going to go back over here and follow the smaller freshwater creek so that I have an easier place to cross. And hopefully the crossing of the big creek is something I can do with dry feet, but we'll see. And if you're doing this as an overnight, great campsites right around here. See how this looks. Yeah, that big red boulder is kind of a good landmark. Right where the two creeks meet. And also, if you need water, that other one is glacial and you wouldn't want to filter from it or drink from it. But this one is clear, fresh water. So keep that in mind. Okay, safely across the glacial creek. And one reason that you never want to camp right near glacial creeks like this, you can tell from the ground here that there has been kind of a messy, muddy debris flow kind of thing here pretty recently. Recently enough that it hasn't been washed away by rain. And that happens periodically, especially in hot weather. Glaciers just kind of release a little burst flood, and you wouldn't want to be anywhere near that when it happened. So, with those words in mind, I'm not going to tarry here. I'm going to head across these lovely meadows for the rest of my hike. All right, that's the big green fluffy meadow that I just came across. Very moist, full of flowers. And what you're doing here is just kind of paralleling the big moraine up here that's at the bottom of the Bend Glacier. And you're just kind of heading due west. And you're just going for whatever the terrain gives you. Like, I came towards this little notch in the ridge, and I'm just going to keep going, go over this notch, and just kind of work that way on whatever looks like the easiest terrain without climbing or descending too much. And before too long, I'm going to find myself at a tarn. And if you're not familiar with that word, a tarn is just a small alpine lake, like a pond. And from that point, I will be on trails all the way back to my car. And I already see a little bit of a use path here. So yeah, even though I'm only about 6 miles into the day, the hard part of the day is over, and now it's going to get more and more cruisy with every passing mile. And I like cruisy. Okay. All right, came across this second willowy meadow right below the menacing north face of Broken Top, which is experiencing a little bit of rockfall right now. And at this point, if you haven't been out here before, it gets a little less obvious. Once you get here, you're kind of running out of flat land, and you feel like you want to follow this drainage down, but you don't want to do that. That will take you down Park Creek into places you don't want to be. What you want to do is go over this next little ridge, and it doesn't look like anything's there, but just go up and over that ridge, and then when you go down, you will find the tarns actually, there's two of them, and you will find the use path down to Golden Lake. And from there, you're not far from the Green Lakes Trail. Okay, I went over that last ridge. You won't go too far because the next ridge is obviously much higher and nastier looking. You get into this little north trending gully, kind of full of sand. And if you just follow it down, hey look, there's a little tarn. And I've camped here at least 3 times. Great campsite. And there's another bigger, more popular tarn right below it. So, oh yeah. The cross-country part is pretty much over. Really nice spring here at the head of this tarn. Just coming right out of the ground, so no filtering. Cold and delicious. I mean, you could filter from the tarn itself, because I don't remember this spring being here all the time. Maybe it's just because it's a wetter year. But beautiful fresh water. And the tarn itself is pretty beautiful too. And a great, great campsite. Yep. Now I'm going to make my way down to the lower tarn. All right, by just going basically straight downhill from the first tarn, or the uphill tarn, I have arrived at the lower and even lovelier tarn. Yeah, this is quite a spot. So I'm probably gonna stop here and take a break for half an hour, let my feet breathe, and stuff my face, take a quick cat nap before continuing. So I'm probably about 7 miles into the day at this point. And all of the hard stuff is behind me, so it's going to be a victory lap. All right, I have left the lower tarn, and now I'm following the obvious but unofficial use path down to Golden Lake. And at that point, I will climb a little bit to get to the pass over to Green Lakes. So kind of past that tree-covered ridge in the distance. I'm going to be over there and go that way. Since I left No Name Lake, I've not seen anybody, which is not at all surprising, but very welcome. Okay, breathing a little hard after that climb out of Golden Lake, which is unseen down in this bowl here. I just hiked up from there. You can see my whole route today after getting past No Name Lake. See if I can zoom this in a little bit. All right. Right there is the notch above No Name Lake. And I followed this ridge over and then followed that north ridge down to the gap right before that blocky thing. And then came down to the low country, traversed straight across until I got to the tarns, which are right about in there. Followed the creek down to Golden Lake. And then finding this trail is a little tougher. It's an unofficial trail, so it's not signed or anything. But if you just kind of go west from Golden Lake, eventually you'll find it. Helps if you have a map to look at. So this is the official Green Lakes Trail that goes down to Parks Meadow. That's what I came up from Golden Lake. And now I've got another 100 feet of climbing or so to get to the pass between here and Green Lakes. And then it's downhill to Green Lakes. So nothing but good high quality trail from here on out. Okay. Oof. Let me tell you what, y'all, that was a hot climb up from Golden Lake. In the sun the whole way, and it's a warm day. The overcast from earlier today has gone away. But the thunderheads from later in today are starting to build, so I can't waste my time too much. I'm here at the very pleasant pass that is on the Green Lakes Trail, just north of Green Lakes. Most people stop at Green Lakes and then just go back. But this pass here opens up a lot of possibilities for loops of all kinds, like the one I'm doing today. So now about 400 feet downhill to Green Lakes, and somewhere along there in a shady spot near the water, I'm going to take another break, and that'll probably be my last one before I get back to my car. South Sister. And Broken Top, the thing I'm hiking around today. Ooh, yeah. All right, let's get this thing going. All right, about to leave Green Lakes behind. This is the southernmost lake with a little flock of Canada geese enjoying it. I'm gonna hike a couple minutes farther here to a creek crossing that has really good water, and it's just a pretty spot. Take a good long break there. Definitely starting to feel the effects of the day. So, gonna eat lots of salty snacks and lay down for a bit. All right, probably about 3/4 done with the day. Continuing around Broken Top. Just left Green Lakes back there, took a nice rest by a creek. Filled up on water, let my feet breathe a little bit. And now I have, I don't know how many miles, 4 or 5, something like that. Back to Crater Ditch Trailhead in my car, and I'm done. This has turned out to be easier than I thought. Considering I've done this loop before in 3 days, I thought one day would be kind of nuts, but it's just a good tough hike. I would do it again. All right, let's finish this up. All right, just filled up my water bottle for the last time at this spring. Probably about 2 relatively flat miles, maybe 2.5 from the Crater Ditch Trailhead and the end of the trip. Back on the south side of Broken Top. It's alternating between overcast, like sun behind the clouds, and breezy. but then the sun will come out and it'll just be roasting. So I kind of like it when it's like this. Holy crap, that was a long day. Nice to see all of my tires are still inflated. Man, oh man. Whew.